slides, we are going to do a review of Master in Financial Engineering. It has gotten a lot of interest recently. In fact, I am also doing the program. I'm almost completing mine, so that's why I felt, okay, I can give you a much more, relatable experience or review of what it is like and what the things that it encompasses are, because a lot of people are beginning to be aware of it, but then it's still they are confused about what really is it about, So without wasting any more time, I dive in. There's a lot of ground to cover, right? That's why I was trying to do a lot more updating people so that they don't miss out, because it will be tricky to go back. So number one is even letting you see what the landscape is kind of like. So the Masters in Financial Engineering, I found this image very, very not 100% accurate, but it does a good job of helping people to grasp the different aspects to it. And as you can see, when it comes to financial engineering, there are 3 core skills that you're going to be going through in any master's program. So you will see there's the mathematical skills. And to disappoint many of you, it's a large chunk of it. So if you're the kind of person who hates mathematics, advanced algebra, and calculus, you're not going to really much enjoy the program. But that doesn't mean that the value is going to be lost on you. It just means that just brace up to know that you're going to have to face your demons, your fears about those kind of courses. So these heavily mathematics, courses oriented. Then there's the financial skills to it. Well, from the one I'm doing, and also I looked at a couple of other universities breakdown, right? And I can see that the financial skills side is not as much as many people think. So a lot of people think, oh, maybe there would be like half finance courses, maybe half other courses. I bet you're going to do programming and mathematics a lot more. When I say a lot more, like 2/3 of or even way more than 2/3 of the curriculum is oriented around programming skills and mathematics skills. Just very few. If you're doing like 10 courses, it might just be 2 or 3 that will be around the financial, stuff itself, the financial skills. So, and that's the main thing I even want to do. The last part of this visual, on the right side, the one that's breaking up into probability and statistics, game theory, portfolio theory, fixed income, Python data mining. I'm not going to, I don't consider it completely accurate, but yes, it's, there's not so much they can put into one visual anyway. And there's a whole lot of nuances, but we'll see those ones later. But as regards that middle one, helping you understand that it's a combination of mathematics skills, financial skills, computer programming skills, that is really accurate. That is very, very correct. So, okay. And let's move on. So, to scare you, you will see the prices of the program, but that's not the main thing I wanted to show us. The main thing I wanted to show us is even to let you be aware of what, who are the top schools and what's the general things that you need to be aware of, such that when I start going into the details, at least you will know that I've shown you that these are the top schools and these are the kinds of things about them. So there's this body. By the way, I've shared the slides link. Let me reshare it so you can also be able to follow along, maybe download, and at your own convenience, go through the links. Because if you click on the link, you're going to be able to see so I'm sharing the slide. In the slide, the link of this in the slides, the link of this rating is there. So that way you'll be able to easily go through the entire link yourself and access more. So I'm sharing the slide. Let's see if I can share the link also. But if you go through the slide, that will do a lot of maximum good. Let me use that word. Unfortunately, the link is not popping out easily. Okay, so not a problem. Uh, uh, let us start with the number one. In fact, let me share my entire screen so that I can zoom, and when I zoom, you're going to see things the way I want you to see them. So I am zooming. Aha. This is the body, QuantNet. As per link, let's see if the link copy now. QuantNet. So this is the link. I'm going to drop it in the chat box so you two can take a look at it. Okay. So maybe we should just take a look at it together from the web page then. So they do a ranking of the best financial engineering, programs, and typically it's master's program. Okay, and so you find that according to them, by their ranking, University of New York is ranked the highest, right? And followed by Carnegie Mellon University. Unfortunately, it's called Computational Finance in that. So, but the key thing is there is a whole lot of information that if you click on any particular school you're interested in, you get to see more information about the program. So that's why I decided to show us the link. And if you are trying to also do it with a very high ranking school, just also check out the typical costs. So you want to also be aware of what it might cost you, if you want to do with such the schools that you see on this ranking. But ultimately, everybody says that the salary is way what it's, as you can see there, the salary on average above 100,000 USD. Just know that if you do the program and you want to earn this kind of salary, don't come back to Nigeria. Just maybe go to US or stay in the US. Nobody's going to pay you kind of money. And a lot of times you don't get to really operate on this level of what the courses cover. At least for me, as I was almost midway into my program, it dawned on me that I can't even apply most of what I'm learning within our market space. So a lot of times you also have to factor that you might need to relocate if you really want to do a job that these skills will open you up to. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the slide. For those just joining, let me repost the links I've shared about the slide, which you can download yourself, and then the ranking too. So if you check the messages prior or just check now, you'll see that okay, so great. Now, what are the usual requirements? So what are the visual, apologies, my throat is feeling right. So what are the visual requirements? And they are not strict anyway. A lot of schools will take you in regardless of the kind of bachelor program you have. So just a bachelor's degree is all you need for most schools. But then there are some who, take it a bit strict, and then they say you must have a bachelor's degree in a science, a maths heavy science program or an engineering program or accounting or finance. So, that's just to let you know in case you come across that, don't be surprised. But they know that there are few. Most other schools just take you, as long as you have a bachelor's degree. Then some schools will ask you for GRE, GMAT, depending on the nature of the school. There are some schools, regardless of whatever program you want to do, they ask you for the GRE or GMAT. So they will still ask you even if you are doing a master's in financial engineering. So just know. And then some other schools, we want to have you do a test of English like TOEFL or IELTS. So those ones are just standard. I just put it there so that you'll be aware that these are some of the usual requirements. And as you will know, schools always want your transcript, your letter of recommendation, and then for the programs that are paid, you might pay separately for application fee. And when you get admission, then you have to hustle the school fees also. You have to hustle for the school fees. So these are just typical requirements. I can't say there's anything for masters in financial engineering that is different from any other kind of masters you want to do, except for those universities that might be asking that you must have a math-related bachelor program degree. Okay. Any questions you can always ask me as we go on. So now if I begin to show you the different curriculum from different schools, then towards the end, I'm going to just narrow down, focus on the one that I am doing, and then I can take you through my own experience and my own review as a Nigerian and, well, as one of us. So this is for University of Technology, Mauritius. Again, just follow me. There's going to be a pattern I want you to notice. So let's look at the courses that they are, stating as required as the things you're going to do once you enroll for the program. Okay. So you're going to do a course that is called Mathematics for Finance. You're going to do another course called Financial Systems. You're going to do a course, Stochastic Calculus for Finance. That's still maths. You're going to do Financial Risk Management. You're going to do Numerical Methods for Finance. That's another math. So out of the 5 I've mentioned, 3 are mathematics already. So let's carry on. Then again, semester 2, you're going to do Statistics and Data Analysis for Finance. That's another maths course. You're going to do Optimization Techniques in Finance. Another maths. You're going to do Edging. I don't know what it's going to be like. So let's say it's not. Let me not say it's maths, but I won't be surprised if there's going to be a lot of maths also in that. You're going to do Mathematical Finance for Stochastic Interest Rates. That's maths again. You're going to do Financial Econometrics Modeling. So you can see that from the 10 courses you're going to do in this university's program for Masters in Financial Engineering, like 7 or 6 of them are mathematics. So that's what I mean when I say this thing is heavily maths. They seem not to be high up on the programming side. So let us go to another university's one. So this is University of Reading in UK. And again, let's look at the courses. So they have it divided into compulsory modules, which are like compulsory courses. So those are the ones you see before the optional ones. So let's look at them. You are going to do Securities and Futures and Options, Fixed Income and Equity Investment, Stochastic Calculus and Probability, that's mathematics, Quantitative Methods for Finance, that's maths, C++ for Financial Engineering, that's programming, Derivatives Modeling, it's heavily maths, like it's maths heavy. So you could say that's also maths. Essential of Financial Engineering, let me not say anything about that. Numerical Methods for Finance, that's another math. So right here in this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 courses, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 already are maths. Okay, so you can see a pattern that they are usually maths heavy. So just don't be deceived by the financial or the engineering in the name. They could as well just swap it with financial mathematics. There's a whole lot of maths you're going to do in it. It came as a shocker for me, actually, because I never really dig into the outline as much as this before I enrolled for mine. So when the programs kicked off and I was like, okay. And we kept doing maths upon maths, I was like, this is a whole lot of maths, much more than I was expecting, okay? So then they have optional modules that you will pick from. So the optional ones are what we have left. I think you will pick maybe 3 optional ones that will be broken down into 50 credits. So that will be like 20 and 110 credit course. So in the optional, well, just because they're optional, you could decide that you don't want to do the ones that are math heavy. So, but at least from the core courses, you could see that like 5 out of 8 are maths, right? And then there's a programming, and then there are the ones that are related to the essential, to the actual financial engineering itself, the hedging, and the methods you need to be aware of. So I'm going to move. If you have any question, please feel free to drop at any point in time your question. And then, University of Leicester. So University of Leicester, the program is this is the structure, right? So the core module, you have stochastic processes and stochastic differential equations. That is maths again. You have financial economics. You have equity and interest rate derivatives. That is heavily maths. It's maths heavy. Computational methods for partial differential equations in finance. That is another maths. So you could see from here, 3 out of 4 is already maths. Or should I say 2.5? Because that equity and interest rate, let's say maybe there is a part of it where we'll talk about concepts and not math, but there's a whole lot of maths in it. You're going to do Black-Scholes model and a whole lot of derivative pricing models that are just purely maths. And then, if you go to the year 2 you'll see statistics and financial econometrics. At least from the statistics word, you can know that that's maths. Whenever you see econometrics, that's the maths side of economics. So that one is also maths. Stochastic volatility models and options pricing in forex. That's another maths, right? Advanced credit risk models. Partially will be maths. Financial risk management. So again, like 3 or 2.5 out of 4 on the year 2 modules are maths, right? Then you do your project. Again, this particular program seems not to have a focus on programming as much, because I haven't seen yet where they say you're going to be doing a specific programming. Okay, so now this is the one I am doing. This World Quant University. It's as you can see, it's a 2-year program. I started it in 2019, so I'll be completing it. I think in the next 2 months, 3 months, thereabouts. So let's say by May, I'll be done, because I'm just completing my 9th course, and so I have to do my capstone. Capstone is equivalent of what is equivalent of your individual project or research work, or just that, or master's dissertation. Just that in their own case, you could. It's not going to be like a research compulsorily. They even advise or encourage us to do algorithm trading solution. So you're going to build a trading solution out of all what you have learned. So something that some people go ahead to build a business out of. So I've seen not 1, not 2 people who have done the same program who are now running their own hedge fund. And the hedge fund was formed out of the project that they did while they were doing this master. So it's been something very encouraging, and it's very rigorous. The company behind, or the institution behind these masters, that's what they do. That's the only thing they do. They only do their hedge fund, and they only do these masters in financial engineering. So it makes it a lot more rigorous and close to reality as possible. We are learning from people who are both industry players and lecturing on the side. So we are learning from people who actually work in hedge funds, who are part of even the institution, because the institution also have their own hedge fund. So we learn a lot of what is real, and they update the module really very frequently. We learn new technologies, and from the courses I've done, I've done an MBA before. I've been involved with some courses, say with Imperial College, with a few other foreign institutions. I can say, without risk of exaggerating, that these universities, one, is really, really, they are top notch in terms of the content. They are really good. Even though the program is kind of free, I got more value in terms of the content, engagement, and the quality of the trainers and the content resources they give us. I got more value than even my paid MBA, the one that I have to pay over the 5 years. My MBA, I use 5 years to pay for it. So that's to show you how much I'm being straightforward in saying that even though it's free, the quality is awesome. So this is what we did, right? And then I'm going to show you how everything goes, what's in all these courses. And as you can see from the other ones I've shown you, it's similar. Just that they are more rigorous in terms of it's a mixture, there's a programming side. So you will notice in the ones I read, some do not have programming, some have. They have programming here. That machine learning in finance is programming. Then even in the other courses, the Peter portfolio theory, asset pricing, we have to use programming to do most of the portfolio setup and some things. So they cover programming R and Python. Then in the data feed and technology, we are learning blockchain. So we are even taught how to program blockchain, how to do Ethereum, blockchain scripts. And I'm not a perfect student. So someone else who is a much more dedicated student will be doing more than even what I do, because sometimes, because of time constraint, I breeze through, try to do the classworks, the assignments, the projects, and maybe not just everything that they say we should practice. But then again, it's been an amazing journey that I do not regret taking it. But then again, it's not just about what it is for me, it's you knowing what it entails and if it's going to make sense for you. So let me take you through the actual curriculum. Okay. Again, all the other universities I've shown you, they have this too. So this one has all what I saw in the other universities one, right? And then this one has machine learning that I have not yet seen in many of the other ones. So this that I'm taking us through is very representative of what you will get in any other masters in financial engineering, not masters in finance, masters in financial engineering, because you also have to be careful that you don't mix the two up, because they are really, really different. The masters in finance, they are not going to focus so much on mathematics as the financial engineering guys are going to do. So let's go at it one after the other. Let's start with the first course that we were made to do, which is the financial markets course. So in this course, we were taking through, the foundations of financial markets, the basics of the different financial markets, equities, money market, bond market, what trading is like, and then history, of the global financial market, and then also to how it has been shaped over the centuries by different things that have happened, and other things that regulations that came up, and also the new hedge fund systems and high frequency trading. So this was a very broad and background setting course to help anyone joining the program to understand correctly what the financial markets, the different players, different segments, and then the history. So from there, we moved on to econometrics. So econometrics, as you know, is all about applying statistical techniques to economic, macroeconomic data. Okay, so we learned how to do R and use it to build econometric models, understand the regression models, time series models, stochastic volatility models. These are like stochastic is almost like it's random. And when you say random movement, and that's what actually happens in real world in most of the financial markets. A lot of things are random to us. Random in terms of there is nothing you could use to deterministically capture the occurrences. So you need something that is tailored to understand Brownian, like random movement anyway. So it's a very serious principle and something you might struggle with at the beginning, but you have to master because there are two other courses that are purely built out of these stochastic models. Okay, so this set the stage for there, and then we got exposed to algorithmic trading strategies and how you apply econometrics to finance and algorithmic trading. Okay, so from there, we now started one of the stochastic courses, discrete time stochastic courses, right? So we started discrete time stochastic course, mathematics. At some point, I was having a headache. It was all just maths and maths, Ito's lemma, things that I was like, oh my God, what have I gotten myself into? I can't even really remember. And when you can't remember something and you don't want to remember it because the feelings, the struggle you had, the very negative emotional feelings that rush up when you remember those things, your brain wants to forget it and make them forgotten for long, right? So that's the kind of experience I'm having with, or relationship I'm having with many of the things they taught us here. But then again, they were the little that stuck made sense. So it was like I was being rushed through a lot. But those are the things that drive the physical, that drives actually the market things. So those who work as quants, those who work as derivative product pricing specialists, they cannot avoid it. Even if they will use frameworks and some things, they might not be calculating from hand, as we were made to do here. But if they do not understand this concept, they will not be able to do their jobs correctly. So I appreciate it. I have it somewhere in my memory as something that, when I'm going for a job that I'm going to be applying this, I'm going to review all of this slowly at my own pace. Maybe I will even start reviewing it now without waiting. But then I didn't find it easy. Then there's this continuous time. So discrete time is like level 1, something to help you to understand the thing in a general way, like in when they say ceteris paribus, all things being equal kind of scenario, right? Then when you go to continuous stochastic, that is closer to real life. Things happen in real life on a continuous time series basis. So this one is a lot tougher and is a lot more closer to reality. And so you see, we learn Ito's, integral, Black-Scholes model, Levy process. So we learned a lot of things that, they gave me headache. But then they are the important concepts they are the mathematical concepts that drive the entire financial engineering. Someone who is a financial engineer, a quantitative analyst, a pricing specialist, whatsoever. We'll talk about the jobs that it opens you up to anyway. You should be good in all of this, right? Then we did computational finance. So computational finance, where we started, again using some things in Python and R and the rest, Monte Carlo method, option pricing, risk management, value at risk, and a whole lot of other things, and then we started also understanding how to price interest rate options because they are the underlying things of every major option too, every major securities. So LIBOR and HJM, Zebra, and so a whole lot of things. Some of them I do not remember right now again, but I know that we covered them very well. And then we moved on to portfolio theory and asset pricing. So here we started talking about the capital asset pricing model, the securities market lines, the capital market lines, and then the difference between the capital asset pricing model and the arbitrage pricing theory, different things, active frontiers, Bayesian portfolio, how you do index, how you calculate active return, nominal return, volatility. So there were a whole lot of things that, in fact, from this course, I decided to create one of my portfolio templates. Let me see if I can grab it for you. So it was the knowledge from this course that helped me to create that portfolio templates. think I have shared it with us before, but I can share it all over again. So this that you're looking at, I created from the knowledge that I got from this course. And it was very practical and it helped me because I use it also for my own investment analysis of in an automated way and designing my portfolio. So I gained from this course immensely. Okay. Then we did finance machine learning in finance. So machine learning in finance, as you can see from the word, it's all purely programming. So we did a lot more of Python programming. We learned different machine learning concepts. We learned about how you work with complex data, how you do principal component analysis, the concept to follow, the understanding the underlying things you should be aware of in choosing the model to use, different options you have, logistic regression, neural networks, support vector machines, boosting, decision trees, supervised and unsupervised model. A whole lot of all the different models that are available for you to choose from, understanding what they are both good for, what each model is well suited for, and then how you apply them. Okay. Then we went to case studies in risk management. So these case studies in risk management I also thoroughly enjoyed because it opened my eyes to how you evaluate risks in investment, in financial investment, either as a person, as an institution, or doing it on behalf of a company. So it made a lot of sense. I gained a lot from it. I was able to see from not just as an individual, as the way most of us just go about our investment, but to see it also from the perspective of these big investment firms, hedge funds, how they manage risk, how they even perceive risk, the approaches they follow in estimating and managing, and and also things that have gone wrong before to learn from how the brightest in the industries, how they've blown up, how hedge funds have blown up, not necessarily because they made mistakes that were from lack of knowledge or just because they say investment, money is like fire. No matter how skilled you are, you will still get burnt. That's just the thing. It's like, yeah, I don't want to use the word playing with fire, but that is just it. You are handling fire, right? So even the best people, right, they just last longer. They're able to reduce the level of burn they experience and the level of burns they experience and maybe treat it faster, and move on. But still, you will get scorched by the fire. It's just normal, just like you being a handler of lions. No matter how very good you are, you will still have some scars to show. All those experience, like they say, good judgment comes from experience, and experience comes from what you learn from making bad judgments, right? So you just can't not have to experience. So it was very eye opening anyway. That's just what I want to bring out. And it was from an institutional standpoint, a very broad and elaborate standpoint. So it made things a lot very, very meaningful for me, rather than most of what we read, on the mass media and all these, like they call them talking heads on TV. I always laugh when I hear that phrase, talking heads. So this is the module I'm currently on. I'm almost finishing this course, data feeds and technology. So here we learn blockchain, we learn even programming with C# to automate things in Excel and all. So it's really eye-opening. I enjoy that part because I've always been struggling with the other R and the Python. They are not, relatively I've been struggling with them. Although I know them, my skills have improved maybe compared to some of my colleagues. But when it came to the C# and Excel, I was like in heaven. I was shining in my group, and I was really like everybody knew that, oh, Michael is feeling happy in the group because we have a group. We as students, even though we are learning distant learning online, we are very kind of close knitted in some ways. I have colleagues spread across Singapore, Australia, France, Europe, even America, but not so many in Americas, but more Europe, Asia, and Africa. And maybe I don't know about South America, but I know when I look at most of my colleagues that I relate with, I find out that they are majorly from Europe, Asia, and Africa. Okay. So here we now also learn blockchain, understanding what it really is was really eye-opening because most of what you see in the general public are a little more like marketing materials, marketing information, somebody trying to advance his own cause. So it's either the person talking is pro Bitcoin and is trying to talk in a very optimistic way, or the person is anti-block Bitcoin, anti-crypto, and is just blasting and running down everything. No, this was from an academic standpoint, explaining what even blockchain is, and explaining, why it was natural that there were cryptocurrencies built on top of them, then the different cryptocurrencies too, then also the ones that are as a platform, that are used for doing smart contracts, Ethereum, EOS. So it was really eye-opening. And then understanding their weaknesses, their strengths. So it was from that academic perspective that we went through it, such that you will start, when you see it, you start understanding some of the things some people say and they just gloss over as if it doesn't matter. You'll be like, this thing really, really is a big thing, is a big deal, and that people just gloss over and. So I'm just rounding it up. In fact, I have an assignment to submit by tomorrow that I've not yet done. Once I submit that assignment, I will now be moving on to the capstone. So the capstone is like our project. So in the capstone, we are encouraged to develop a trading system. So that's why I say this thing is really rigorous. They've given us all what we need. So it's now about interest. So you can decide that you want to develop a trading system, and they have their own kind of a venture capital system that, if what you've done really makes sense, they will connect you, the university will connect you with their other sister organizations that are into hedge fund and venture capital in the quant space. And then, you could get funding and you could make your stuff actually a company. You can build a company out of it. Otherwise, you can just decide to sell it, license it to them to use. So they're going to just do some back. They have a way they write it out. Like if you want to sell to them your algorithm, then it must meet some benchmark at first test. Then they're going to run it for some. So they have a way where by milestones you will know how you're going to get your money and when they eventually buy it from you and all of the rights are involved. So that's why I say DS is much closer to the reality, to the main market, to the streets. So there's some people who had done this course 2 years before me finished, and they have their own hedge fund. I see one of them who is popular amongst my cohorts. We keep sometimes talking about him in a way to take motivation from him. And then there are some other people who are working as heads in some other hedge fund, and some who are just analysts anyway, based on what they learn. So I find it really interesting. My only problem is just that our Nigerian market is not developed enough for me to execute most of what I'm learning. We do not have our securities is very small, it's limited. We just have small amount of equities. Many of them are not even active. We don't have platforms that allow you to do algorithmic trading. So you can't even do programmatic trading. Then also we don't have platforms that favor like considerable frequency of trading. I don't even want to use the word high frequency trading, but even you trading, frequently in a week, almost like trading maybe once a day or twice a day, you can't with our platform. The costs will kill you. The exchange rate, the transaction fees, they are crazy high. And so there's a whole lot. There's lack of data. the depth of market is shallow. So there's so many things that makes it very hard for someone like me to go for this option, except you want to do it for a foreign market. So that's why I'm thinking is either I join someone else who is doing it for a different market, or I just go ahead and do on a research track. Okay, but that's just to let you understand that this is typically the way the program is structured, right? So, and let's see. All right, so now that I've talked about mine, any questions before I go to the last portion of my slides? Any question at this juncture? Okay, so if no question, at least what I've said should give you some good overview of what the courses typically entail. A lot of maths, some finance and econometrics, programming, and then you're going to do a dissertation, which in my own case, in the school I'm doing, it could be you build a software, a trading software, or you write a research. Okay. So what about the career path? What kind of career does this open you up to? Okay, so let's go check it out. So this university actually did a nice job. I've forgotten the name of the university, but if you check the slide I've shared with us, let me share the slide again. If you check the slide, you will see the link and you too can follow along. So I'm going to just open the link and we're going to go through the jobs. So you can function in these domains with this if you have this financial engineering master's degree. You can function in a structuring and / sales and trading domain where like almost like structured finance, where you're dealing with derivatives, where you're building exotic products, So you could function here because what the teachers already shows you how to price derivatives, how to make forecasts about, calculate all of the costs involved, right? Carry cost and the cost of storage and option pricing, whether it's a put option, is a call option, all of those things they've already covered for us. So it's just you using these to develop products for the company or do pricing for the investment bank you're working with. So that's this sales, structuring and sales and trading. So whether you're a trader, using that information to know where there's an upside somewhere, there's an arbitrage that can be explored, extracted somewhere. Then you could do on the data science side. So you could join companies that their own work is to build models and license it for other people to use. So that's one option that some of my colleagues are trying to do, especially those of my colleagues who have ambitions like me. But then when they found out that a lot of what we are learning cannot apply in Nigeria, they decided, you know what, Nigeria, they are going to build something and license it and make it available to maybe retail investors, make it available to people outside of the continent, and hopefully they can monetize it and make money out of it. So there's that data science side where you can decide to use your knowledge to warehouse data, build investment models, and build trading models, algorithms, make trading models, and things that you can begin to sell to other people. Then there's the quantitative research and analysis side. If you even decide to go back to academia, and apply your knowledge in carrying out a doctoral research, doctorate research, doctoral now, research, or you can join an investment bank or a venture capital or a VC or a hedge fund and work in the research arm and analysis using all what you've learned, to analyze things for them, to analyze opportunities, to carry out maybe things that they will even send to their investors as on a weekly or whatsoever to help them understand the market, what's happening, what will happen next, what the signals are saying and all of that. And you could also be in the strategy and modeling. So the strats and modeling. So where you are using all of these things to help a particular organization to hedge their investment, to hedge, so more like hedging anyway. So where you're able to, maybe a company wants to um, reduce their exposure to forex volatility. You could help them build those hedging stocks, right? So that's where it's tracked. So you supporting a management strategy using your knowledge of all of this to do hedging, risk management for them too. Then it's portfolio management. So you could also use your knowledge to structure portfolio for investment firms, do the portfolio analysis, make it in an automated way, which is the thing I really enjoy because I'm already using what I learned in that space to do this on my own portfolio. So I'm able to automate my portfolio, do automated analysis, and do portfolio allocation in a much more meaningful way. Then there's risk management, which again ties with hedging. So with your knowledge, you could be in the risk management segment of any company, especially large companies that are exposed to risks that they want to hedge, financial risks that they would like to hedge or manage. Okay, so you'll be able to help them, in helping them quantify the risk, develop strategies to manage the risks, setting up models to simulate, different occurrences. So it's a very interesting space anyway. And then you could decide to strike it alone and go as a consultant and maybe be doing valuation for other clients. So which, though I do this, but I don't yet apply this knowledge in what I do. I do more of the financial modeling. So maybe, I don't know, depending on the connection too, I'm able to get because not so many people in Nigeria I'm aware of are in need of this type of consulting. Someone consulting for them on how to hedge their risks, on how to value unconventional assets, right? Or using quantity way to value things. Then you could become a quantitative developer. You can even become a blockchain developer. They taught us how to build those things too. Okay, so if you look at all those links, let me just grab the link for you. So if you look at this link, it's University of Berkeley, University of California, Berkeley, California. Let me just open the link. So this is the link where you're going to see all those different career paths. So you can just explore for yourself and see, is there anyone that you find interesting that you want to plug into? Okay, so and I've come to the end actually. I think this is the last slide. Yeah. So any questions? Any questions from anyone? You can unmute. I can hear you. So, well, overall, a financial modeling, a financial engineering course is heavily mathematics oriented. So just don't be don't be deceived by the word finance and engineering that is there. You're going to do a lot of mathematics, okay, and programming in all the most of them involve programming and then some bit of finance too. So the kind of careers you're going to be having will be careers in these domains. I've shared with us the links so you can go check out the different jobs that fall in those domains. So maybe if I click here, I'll see the kind of jobs and companies that typically hire for those jobs. If I go to straight another one. So all of this you can. Any questions?
I have a question.
All right, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Yeah,
yes.
okay, now, how do you get a job if you don't have a work experience in this area? Even if you do this degree, how do you get a job considering the fact that you don't have a work experience in that area? Is it possible?
Okay, so there are two parts to it. Okay, so let me even take you to I want to open out all the there's this other, I keep forgetting the name. Let me check if it's this. One, four. Okay, maybe it's this one. All right, so in answering your question, I want to show you that some I'm part of. So just that because I'm not active, okay, I think it's this one. So if you look at my screen, you see this, and there are many of them, right? So this one is a Quant Connect. There's another one that I'm also part of that they even make it bolder for you to see. There are now platforms that allow you to sell your model. So you can say, without experience, just with the theoretical knowledge and what I've gotten from the master's program and whatsoever other programs you are doing, you build a quant model. You use these platforms, right? You are able to, if you don't want to use real money, no problem. They allow you to also access like paper trading where you are not trading with real money, right? And they are always doing a leader rank of people's model. So people whose models are ranking really high, they get attention from employers without them looking for a job. They get attention from employers. Then you yourself can decide that you want to license your model for use by other people. So if people are using your model, maybe they'll be paying you a monthly fee, or they'll be sharing a portion of their profit with you. So you're already making money without looking for a job. That's one way. And then you get a job also too from some people who they like your outcome and they want you to come build for them. You want to join their, most companies who are in this space, that's what they do. When it comes, just like programming, in programming, people are always much more interested in what you have done than how many years experience you have. If you show someone you have done, 20 different projects that are really high value projects, even though you started all of your learning in 1 year, they will hire you over someone who has 6 years experience. Why? They know the tools are always changing. The tool of tomorrow has not yet been developed. The tool that they will probably be using in 2 years' time has not yet been developed. So why are they looking for 5 years experience or 3 years? So they know that they don't look for experience as such. It's only maybe for some management level roles or some other supervisory roles they will look for. For the actual building, it's your portfolio they want to see, your capability to use the relevant technology to build something that is really useful. And so that's one approach many people use, especially those of us in this end of the planet. Then I don't know this one. So I don't know this one. The other one I wanted to share. See, this one also makes it very obvious. So this is another one of those platforms where you can see what they said. Code a trading algorithm. We will connect you to the resources, like to the live server. You don't have to buy data. They have data. They connect you to the data, to everything, and then so just unfortunately you won't find Nigerian data. That's why I was discouraged in my own idea, because I was planning to do stuff for Nigeria. But really, if you are looking for a job, you don't want to do Nigeria, because Nigerian market will not even hire you and pay you what you are worth. So you want to do something for the foreign market so that someone will notice you there, and maybe you will get to Canada or to London or to UK or to US, and you earn the big bucks that we keep here reading online. So that's the one approach. And let me show you that. I think I opened it. So this is the organization that is funding the university that I'm doing my master's in, right? So, like I told you, they have a hedge fund. So this is the asset management. They also have a portion of their business where it's like a venture capital kind of one, where you pitch them with your ideas, you pitch them with what you have built, you pitch them with stuff you develop, and they will, if what you've done is really impressive, they will give you a job offer. So that's how they hire. Their own job offer is not tied to experience, tied to you showing proof of work. Let me use that word. Proof of what you can do and your knowledge. That's all they want. They don't want your I've worked 20 years or your relevant typical CVs. No. Let me see if I can find where the link is. So they make it even very obvious. So that's one way. And yes, you're right. There's still the other way of applying for jobs in the traditional way. So there are still jobs that they don't really need. They need 0 to something years of experience. So 0 means you qualify if you do not have. Okay, so doesn't mean that all jobs are always asking for experience. Not all jobs. So there are still jobs that do not ask for experience and just want. The only problem is that those ones that do not ask for experience as such, they will ask for qualifications. So you must have maybe a PhD. For some, is a PhD they want. Some might be a master's and some experience in a particular domain. Maybe experience in investment banking, even if it's not a quant-related experience, or experience in a bank, or experience in a. So they might ask for things like that, except it's an internship role that they might not ask for experience in any domain, and maybe they might not ask for, but they will still want to ask for a master's because otherwise you won't be able to get the kind of internship you want. It might just be all those undergraduate kind of internship. So let me see. Aha, can you see this? Streamlining the process for submitting alternative data. So they have this, even at the point I checked it, I wanted to submit my Nigerian stuff because I've been working on some things on Nigeria. So they challenge you to go and come up with really how, non-mainstream ideas that nobody has ever thought about. Maybe you want to be, some people will say, oh, you know what, you could use the temperature reading across some place to determine economic activity. You could use, there are people who have used all kinds of funny ideas to link things up, and it works, So if you two have come up with some really idea that nobody has ever connected together, maybe how what will I call it now? How the kind of things people tweet, about relates to some other economic or investment related thing that happens on the ground. Any idea that you have about using non-common data, if you submit to them, and they are very transparent, they will tell you up front that they are going to pay you and they are not going to hold your data. You can pull out, you own the right to your data until you sell it to them. So I've always been thinking of one day I will put my stuff together very well and submit for this. So there are opportunities. To be sincere, this is the future. And you know how it is in Nigeria now. ATM has been around since 1980 something. Up until early 2000s, many of us do not know what ATM is. Nobody would have even thought about going to learn about how to operate on ATM, But you know what? When it came to Nigeria, it came as if it's a tsunami, that banks had to be sending people for training outside of the country on how to use it, right? So it's always like that. This is the future. That's just the truth anyway. Maybe not the future for everything, but it's the future in the investment banking space, in the risk management space, in the hedge fund management space, in all those spaces, even in a regular company, when they want to, all those, if you are the one in charge of treasury and all of those, where they park their excess fund, this is the future. You just want to have one leg in it. You don't want to be completely in the dark when that tsunami comes, as it always comes in Nigeria, where you just see that everybody wants to do it. Okay? So I hope I tried with answering your question. Any other question? I think we are now past the time. Okay, so thank you very, very much. And my people say I should always make sure I let you be aware that we are the ones sponsoring these sessions. And if you have any training needs, financial modeling, Power BI, Excel training needs, please check us out, so that we will have revenue to be able to keep sponsoring these events. And more importantly, we don't leave our participants. So when we do training, we have a host of things that carries on. Our training doesn't end at the end of the training. We understand that for you to know well, you have to keep using. And it was out of supporting our participants that we came up with this idea of every week, let's get other people or myself to talk about one thing a week so that people's mind will constantly be refreshed and they will never be in the dark about anything that they have learned or that they are learning. So thank you very, very much. I wish you a very nice week ahead.